And we kind of have a 1-2 punch going here.
A lot of times we find our bass go back in the real shallow water.
I got to figure perch primary forage on this lake, huh? There we go, nice fish. Oh man.
There it is. There it is.
In the south where you've got those, where the bass is the top predator, he owns that. He owns the prime structure, but when you get in with predators like walleye, northern pike, and muskie, he defers to them, and he's occupying a very distinct niche.
That is exactly right, and that's pretty prevalent, you know, in a lot of the lakes throughout, you know, the country. And as you work even further north here into the Canadian waters, the Shield lakes, you know, it becomes even more evident there, because then now we're talking about there's lake trout up there, and there's you know, a number of different species, and they all have their little niche.
Mm-hmm.
They have their little bays, they have their little, you know, rocky areas that the smallmouth bass like to inhabit, and so it's pretty interesting. This lake is part of Leech Lake, and the number one predator fish in this lake is the muskie. You know, he's a big predator that ranges up to about 40-45 pounds, 50 to 55 inches in length. The next one is a northern pike. It seems like the bass up in like Leech Lake and a lot of our lakes up north, you know, their niche is very shallow water. The northern pike and the predator fish hang out in a little bit deeper water on the edges, but a lot of times we find our bass, you know, back in the real shallow water depths of 2 to 5 feet. And it's hard to catch a fish, or even to fish for a largemouth bass beyond like 5 feet. They're just not there, because they have learned over time that they can't survive out there.
Some bass in that little bit.
This is more suited here. This cover, reed cover, is best suited for flipping jigs, weedless Texas rigging, and short little casts. And with the conditions we have today, bright sky, clear water, and no wind, the fish are very spooky, and you really have to have a real stealthy approach. I'm looking for deep reeds is what I'm looking for, and if we can find the deep reeds, we'll find the bass.
And what, deep is always a relative term on this lake, this time of year, these conditions. What qualifies as deep?
What qualifies as deep reeds would be, depending on the quality of the lake. This water here today that we're fishing is very clean and clear, and you can see bottom in about 10 feet of water. So therefore, I'm looking for reeds that are in like 6 feet of water.
Good fish, good fish, good fish.
That one.
Okay. And we kind of have a 1-2 punch going here. You're working your dipsticks, impulse dipsticks, on the outside edge for more active fish, and you're going a little bit deeper using the brush beaver.
Brush beaver, the new impulse brush beaver. Yeah, we're fishing a reed bank here today in pretty shallow water, and it's real clear water. And my buddy up front of the boat, Eric here, he's pitching a little dipstick, 5-inch dipstick worm, and getting the active biters, and I'm going a little bit deeper with heavier equipment, 65-pound braid, and with these new impulse brush beavers, and we're jerking nice fish out of there like this.
Yeah, beauty, beauty. Okay. Eric, you're running the boat here. Tell us a little bit about your strategy and how you're trying to position the boat, and some of the spots you're picking out for active fish on these reed banks.
Sure, a lot of times when you're fishing together with a partner in the boat, you want to try to cover as much water as you can. So I'm fishing with a spinning rod and 15-pound bionic braid, a 5-inch impulse dipstick, and working the outside points and edges and pockets of this reed bank, where my buddy John in the back, he's getting back into the reed bank about 10 more feet and getting those fish that are more buried in the cover. So you can fish both edges, both the inside and the outside edge, and catch a lot more fish.
Yeah, he came back. How far? He looked like he was pretty deep
back
in
there
it.
quite a ways. I just switched over to a weighted lipstick hook.
There you go.
This one here's got a little bit of weight. I fish it with the dipstick worm, and it just allows that worm to penetrate the cover a little bit quicker. It falls and drops a little bit faster.
There you go. All right, good fish.
Nice fish. Yes.
Oh, there's another one. Here. This is one going to be your... Oh yeah, that's a good fish. Yeah. Good fish. Good fish. So oh yeah, okay. There we go. Nice fish.
Yeah, fatty.
Yeah, baby.
There. Oh man.
There it is. There it is.
What was the secret? What did we do different? Were you still using that weighted,
the weighted hook? Yeah, the weighted worm hook, the weighted lipstick hook, and then a 5-inch watermelon impulse dipstick worm combination.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
Been good for us today.
Okay. You see acres and acres of reeds. You know bass are in the reeds, but which reed define a good spot out here?
Well, you know, when John Peterson took us out here today, one of the first things he looked for was deep water close to reeds. And so, you know, you take those clues from experience, and then the fish clue you into it. So we were by these deep water reeds, and we made some casts really shallow and had some fish coming shallow. So we started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Get close to reeds that are near deep water, but don't be afraid to get up in 1 foot, 2 foot of water where those bass were hanging out.
We've gone into the thick stuff and
catching big bass in the jungle.
Right
this
here.
is what we call the jungle.
This is
it's
what it
heavy
is.
cover, and it takes heavy artillery, you know, back here to get these fish, because they get tangled up in the bulrushes back in here, and the battle is on, and oftentimes the fish wins.
Yeah.
In this case, this one come to the boat.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Let's get some more. Give us a little summary of what you saw and what we learned today.
Well, a couple things that I learned today. Number one, it reiterated my love of going to a new lake. I've never been to this lake before, and learning a new body of water is a lot of fun for me, and so that's one thing. The other thing is paying attention to where we caught some of the fish, you know, and able to pattern them in a short period of time. Heck, we were only out here 4 or 5 hours, and we were able to pattern the fish and catch a couple dozen of them. So those are really the two big things for me in the summary of the day. It was great fun with great friends, and let's do it again.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And we kind of have a 1-2 punch going here.
A lot of times we find our bass, you know, back in the real shallow water.
I got to figure perch primary forage on this lake, huh? There we go, nice fish. Oh man.
There it is. There it is.